Welcome to Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Also, apologizing in advance, I have no voice, so I sound terrible, so bear with me. I'll do the best I can. First stop in the park, checking out some cannonballs. This should be really interesting.
Theodore Roosevelt National Park is broken up into 3 sections: the North Unit, the South Unit, and the Elkhorn Ranch Unit. I headed into the North Unit first and arrived at the cannonball concretions within only a few minutes. These cannonballs are so unique and interesting, and I loved exploring around this area. They were formed within the sediment layers of the Badlands, and due to erosion, they are slowly being exposed. If you're headed into the park, I highly recommend checking out this area. There are hundreds of bison in this national park, and I saw a ton of them. Sorry in advance for all the bison clips in this video. I'm kind of obsessed with them.
It's only 2/10 of a mile to get to this overlook, and it is well worth the walk. Check out this view. Alright, headed out on the Caprock Coulee trail. This is 4.1 miles. It's ranked as moderate according to all trails, and it's a loop. This is supposed to be one of the best trails in the park, so I'm really excited to check it out. Just something funny to note, there is bison poop everywhere in the park. It's kind of funny.
I came to Theodore Roosevelt National Park in April, and most of the time I felt like I had the park all to myself. I only saw a handful of people during my 2 days here, and it was so nice not dealing with crowds and soaking up all the sights and sounds of nature. The Caprock Coulee Trail is the #1 ranked trail in the park on all trails, and it's easy to see why. While you're hiking, you can soak in amazing views of the Badlands and the Little Missouri River.
really cool about this trail is that there are a lot of little offshoots where you could do some rock scrambling and climbing and just explore a little bit, but seriously, these views are incredible.
This video is another wonderful example of how I walk better on my hands than my feet. Gymnast probs. I took a small detour from the Caprock Coulee trail to check out the Riverbend overlook, and it was well worth the effort. There is a stone structure at the edge of the butte which overlooks the Little Missouri River. The views from this overlook are beautiful. According to the AllTrails app, this hike logged me at 4.7 miles, including the detour to the Riverbend overlook. The elevation gain was 604 feet, and it took me about 2 hours with plenty of stops for pictures and videos. After exploring the north unit of the park for most of the day, I headed to the south unit, which is about 80 miles away. I saw even more wildlife on my way in, including deer, more bison, and prairie dogs. My first stop in the south unit was Prairie Dog Town, and I had way too much fun watching them scamper around and listening to all the sounds they make. They are very vocal. I hope you enjoy the next minute of prairie dog shenanigans. I know I sure did.
Hi.
The Wind Canyon Trail is only about half a mile, but it was easily one of my favorite trails in the park. I loved it so much I actually hiked it twice. You'll see more of this trail later in the video. The hike leads you towards the Little Missouri River, and the overlook at the end gives you stunning views of the river below. If you're heading into the park, don't skip this trail.
So it wasn't supposed to rain until 7 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock and it's pouring, so I am running back to the car. Very cool trail, but it is cold. Day 2 in North Dakota. Apparently it snowed last night. It's only 22 degrees. It looks really pretty, but it's probably going to be a cold day in the park. Checking out Theodore Roosevelt's cabin. You're supposed to be able to go inside the cabin, but the front door is still locked.
I was so excited to see the wild horses in this national park. If you drive the 36-mile scenic loop in the South Unit, you can usually see them from the road. The horses are absolutely gorgeous. I saw a few more deer on the second day and even more prairie dogs. How many prairie dog videos is too many?
Checking out the Boy Court Trail. This is a really short trail. It's about half a mile and it looks like it's paved most of the way, so it should be pretty easy. I feel like the GoPro doesn't do it any justice. It looks really pretty though in person. This trail is super short, but worth the effort. The view is beautiful at the end, especially with all the snow today.
I'm from New Jersey, so I normally hate sitting in traffic, but I gotta say, I don't mind getting stuck in a bison jam. This was pretty entertaining to watch.
Next up is the Coal Vein Trail. This is another short one. It's only about 0.8 of a mile. This trail is super muddy because of all the snow. I have mud caked to the bottom of my hiking boots.
One of the few downfalls of visiting off-season was that part of the scenic loop was closed. I was unable to get to the Petrified Forest Trail, and the Buck Hill Trail was also closed while I was here.
So I'm hiking the Wind Canyon Trail again because yesterday it was pouring and I had to rush to finish it. So the weather is much better today. Hopefully I can soak up the views a little bit more.
was so thankful for the beautiful weather the second time I did this trail. It was cold, but not rainy, and I was able to really take my time and enjoy the incredible scenery. After I finished, I headed over to the Painted Canyon Trail.
Hike in the mud, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
I've never experienced mud like that in my entire life. The trail was actually so muddy that I didn't hike the entire trail. I was slipping and sliding all over the place, and my sneakers kept getting stuck in the mud. It was a pretty miserable experience, but the views from the trail were really nice.
It's snowing!
I was pretty cold when I left, but I had a fantastic time in Theodore Roosevelt National Park. This park is one of the least visited, but I feel like it's a hidden gem. I loved hiking and doing handstands throughout the park and really enjoyed seeing the landscape and abundant wildlife.
So I left Theodore Roosevelt National Park and I'm currently driving down the Enchanted Highway where there are a ton of super big metal sculptures, and this is the first one I got to. It's pretty cool.
There are 7 sculptures along the 32-mile Enchanted Highway, and they are the biggest scrap metal sculptures in the world. These sculptures are massive and way bigger than I expected. There are pullouts by each one so you can park and really get a good look at them. I was very impressed and also felt very small next to them. I feel like the GoPro videos don't do a great job of portraying how large these sculptures actually are, so check out how tiny my handstand looks in this picture. Geese in Flight is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's largest scrap metal sculpture. It stands at an impressive 110 feet high and 150 feet wide. As always, thanks so much for watching. It would mean the world to me if you could like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. More adventures are coming soon.